feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of Double X.
Positive Power 21.org Internet Radio.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I live in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, Jerry Royce Live Worldwide.
All right, what's up, family? What's going on? Welcome to Positive Power, Double XI Christian Media. You're listening to the Live Jazz Experience. It's right coming out of Chestertown, Maryland, and Owings Mills, Maryland. Welcome, everybody. And shout out to all of our overseas listeners. See those numbers looking awesome. That's right, for the Live Jazz Experience. Yeah, we got jazz lovers all over the country. Of course, everybody that listen to the show know we not only just support the jazz community, but also the rhythm and blues and other neo soul, you name it. You know, they're here, not just gospel, but they're here sharing information about the business, about the industry. A lot of us are still, a little ignorant of the industry because we sometimes we focus on our talent, our craft, and our skill set. And sometimes we don't have time to go out there and learn about the policies and the laws and the technology this changing constantly. But that's what Positive Power is here. So if you guys are locked in, you guys know what we do here. We give you the facts. We bring the experts here. You get Emmy award-winning artists as well as Grammy nominated winners, you name it. We try to find them for you guys. So we working diligently with the promoters and management to try to get you guys some really good experienced people. So if you guys listen to the testimony with Paula Breon every Monday what night she come on? Yeah, Monday. Got my days mixed up. You can catch Paula Breon. No, Paula come on Tuesday. My bad, y'all. She comes on Tuesday. You can catch her right after Dr. V at 9:00. She brings a lot of artists, a lot of seasoned artists on the show. Some of these artists have been in the industry for a long time. They started as DJs, house music DJs. Then they moved into, music, studio production, engineers, writers, composers. And you get a chance to hear a lot of those guys. A lot of those guys are famous, man. They got a lot of awards. They've written for people like Vicky Winans and Ezekiel Walker, just to name a few. But anyway, let's bring Lady Praise on the show. This is her and DJ Jazzman show. They come out of Chestertown. You can catch her on Sundays at 6:00. Of course, everything is shut down now because of COVID, but it will be happening real soon. We know, we can feel it. We can feel the shift. Right, DJ Lady Praise, how you feeling tonight? Lady Praise. Batman can't hear you. I'm gonna have to go to my other I don't know what's going on with my system. I must get the wrong settings in here. Wait a minute, it happened yesterday. Wait a minute, let me switch over. Yeah, I feel you.
opening her up to rock and roll, and credits Mr. Baron Edwards for strategically placing her in his Motown Revue tribute show and his R&B show band, forcing her into an exciting new world of professional singing. Now, Janae quickly became known as a established background vocal, supporting several local bands and solo artists over the years. She often says her experiences have shaped the voice you hear today, and credits her family and peers for pushing and loving her back to center stage. Now, the year 2014 marked a career turn for Janae, as she was again nominated and awarded the Best Neo-Soul Performer by the Bay Area Black Music Awards, and was signed and also made the First Lady president of the record label Currency Kings Entertainment, CKE, by the label's CEO, Kenneth Christian. Now, she has since been nominated and honored with many accolades, including the most recent a nomination in 3 categories of the prestigious 2017 Bay Area Music Awards, namely Best Female R&B Performer, Best Urban Female Performer, and Best Neo-Soul Performer. Now, she has 2 songs out. I believe she has one song, That's My Song. I really like that song. And it was released, and it's featuring top Oakland rapper-producer Ken Wan. Now, this track harkens back to the fun days of danceable R&B music with a nice rhythmic flow and light party lyrics. A nice debut from California vocalist Janae Blackwell, who is billed again as the mistress of soul. Now, again, I mean, she's just really got a whole bunch of stuff now. Actually, Janae is currently in the process of recording her debut, her freshman album, I believe, right, Batman? I believe, with her long-time...
she worked on...
Yeah, and songwriting partner Kenneth Christian of Currency Kings Entertainment. Now, this album will be entitled Uncompromised and currently has roughly 10 solid R&B, neo-soul, and soulful house tracks picked for the album. There are plans to bring in several different producers to help with the final batch of songs and the final mix. Now, in January, Janae was nominated for 2017 Newcomer of the Year in the Record Flow sponsored groundbreaking People's Choice Awards. Now, she came in first place and received the award during the broadcast ceremonies last month. Now, with a recent spotlight featured in 1212 Entertainment Magazine and a recent artist review in the well-known Soulful Seduction music blog, the future looks very bright indeed for Janae Blackwell, the mistress of soul, who is looking forward to forging new industry alliances. And again, I think the follow-up song, the follow-up song to That's My Song is entitled Dance All Night. It's scheduled for I think it was released last November, correct? And this single is more a soulful house track and is sure to please and excite her fans with its heavy funk overtones and suggestive lyrics. This fun dance track was written and produced by Rodney Moe and Robert Hunter. Now, a special shout out to legendary New York DJ Les Love, who was instrumental in introducing this stellar production team to the label. C-Town Records label president and A&R Gregory Beasley wrote the lyrics on this sizzling track, and Janae delivers soothing vocals effortlessly. This track has all the signs of becoming yet another winner for the Mistress of Soul, Janae Blackwell. So she's got it going on, and she's been doing her thing. Yeah, man. She's doing her thing.
I love it. There's so much talent out here, you know. Wow. I've always been a big... No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it seems like it's so hidden, because when you're looking at like America's Next Got Talent, man, these guys can really sing, and they just need that little bit of a push. You know, I mean, like DJ Jazzman always says, man, these guys sound better than what's out here now.
I know, but since you've been interviewing artists In your opinion, watching the showcases that we have on TV where, I can't count how many artists have been on television on these shows. And it's a number of those shows now. It's not just American Idol and The Voice. Yeah. You have a few more. But yet, you still haven't seen more than 10% of them reach stardom. You can count. For example, I was going to throw some names out there, but I better not try. But anyway, we know who they are. When American Idol first took off, these winners were out there. And of course, you see Kelly. I think that's her name, Kelly Clarkson. She actually has a television show now. And and then a couple other the country girl switched over, I think, to pop. But you don't really see them even still, blowing people out the water, even though they consider mainstream now. And of course, Jennifer Hudson, I don't even think she won the American Idol, and she has been really one of the most successful, right?
Yeah, and I just heard the other day that Ruben Studdard, who came in second to Clay Aiken, he now is starting to come back with his album. And when he came out with that album a couple of years ago, when he did that Luther Vandross tour, I was like, yeah, my man, you get ready to set it off. And he set it off with that tour. And I think now he's got a new album out, and he really got a really nice album and single. But you're right, you don't really hear from those guys. I mean, they're just like they disappear into the woodwork, and I mean, they can really blow. And then with Fantasia,
Fantasia, Barrino. Now, Fantasia is very active she's very active on social media. Now, occasionally she would sit in her living room and sing and entertain her fan base. Now, that's another interesting conversation before we move down. I guess let's just drop down the list a little bit. You got Carrie Underwood, the fourth season. The first season was Kelly Clarkson. Of course, she's now a talk show host. Ruben Studdard, he's been bouncing around back and forth. Fantasia, she kind of been a little consistent with what she's been doing. Carrie Underwood, I think she's been really doing her thing, multimillionaire. Taylor Hicks, I haven't kept up with her though. But
you mean Taylor Hicks? Yeah, he was a guy. That's a guy.
Oh, that's a guy. Oh, right. Okay, he was country. Was he country or pop? Okay.
He was.
And then Jordan Sparks.
Yes.
Yeah, so Jordan how far did Taylor Hicks get? Because I didn't keep up with him. So what's going on with Taylor Hicks?
Taylor Hicks really didn't get that far. I think he had maybe like a minor hit, and then I think he just does local stuff. I mean, not local stuff, but where he is. But he was more like a pop blues kind of singer. But you just don't really hear about him anymore either. You just don't. I mean, he just disappeared. Right. And then Sparks, when she did Sparkle a couple of years ago, remember with Whitney Houston and Tamela Mann and CeeLo, which is great. I think I actually watched it a couple of weeks ago. I mean, she was really good in that. But then she sort of disappeared off into the become part of the woodwork and just sort of disappeared. I mean, a lot of these guys just don't have magic like Jennifer Hudson has that voice that just boom,
Yeah. And sometimes I'm wondering, because it's not like they all can't sing, but, were they marketable like she was? She kind of reminds you a little bit that she falls in that Mary J. Blige category where she got the style, she comes from our community, it's like you can really feel where she came from. And those names you just mentioned, they were all winners. They won the whole thing. David Cook, Chris Allen, Lee DeWitt, they were all winners. It's like, well, what happened to them? Did they just use them to go out on the American Idol tour, and American Idol accumulated all their losses and got all their money, and then nobody signed them? Or what happened? Is the contract tough to get around?
Yeah.
That's another thing that we don't know is like maybe the contracts are complicated to get to sign American Idol winner because their name is out there.
Was. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that contract really they signed really stifled them, and they wanted them to do all this stuff, and then once they did it, they weren't promoting them any kind of way, and it was like, okay, now you're out of your contract. I can't get signed by anybody because I don't have that one hit. I don't have those couple of hits. And, like I said, you look at Jennifer Hudson. I mean, she just went blew up when she was in Dreamgirls.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And sometimes it's that once you hit that stage, doing those plays, keeping you out there. Because people forget about you really quick, I guess that's the deal. But, I'm looking at the list, and these artists are from all over the country, even, Maryland and, Florida. I mean, I'm looking at Lakeisha Jones, and, I mean, she's from Fort Meade, Maryland. I haven't seen anything, Where is she today?
Now, was she a winner? Was she a winner?
No, she actually came in fourth place to with Taylor Hicks.
Wow.
This was a very popular season.
Yeah. I bet what it is, she can't really latch on to any kind of record company.
Yeah,
and
my bad. She was a winner. She was that year with Jordan Sparks. That was the 6th season.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, what happened, is it they can't get the right management. I think it's something that's going on with the contracts, to be honest with you. I think that's always the issue. They stick you on the shelf. Because I don't know if you ever heard the story with Alicia Keys, but when she was doing some interviews, I remember her saying that they had her on the shelf for a long time, too, until my man Clive Davis reached out and got her. Because, remember, he left and started his own label. So A&R, I don't know. Sometimes they got hit and misses.
Yeah, can you imagine Alicia Keys was sitting on the shelf? I mean, when she came out, when she was, 19? When she came out, with I'm falling in. I mean, when she came out with that hit, I was like, where's she been? And she's been sitting on a shelf? What?
Yeah.
I mean, she was sitting, she's like 16, 17 years old.
And it was interesting because, I remember when she came to Baltimore, I was actually intern and doing a couple of interns with the TV station, radio station, and occasionally the instructors would say, hey, it's an artist coming in town, there's going to be a listening party, you guys are invited, So she had like a listening party that was going. That was the first time I really heard of those. And what happened was she went to the radio station, I think it was 92Q at the time, and it was one of the latest shows on Drive Time. She was there, and then the artist, the DJ, she announced that she was having a listening party, and she was inviting a number of, I guess, the executives and the people that make the decision of what music is played. So basically, because 92Q, I believe, had over 100-mile radius, they had a lot of stations there, out of D.C. area, Jersey, she was able to hit them all. And everybody showed up, was at a hotel, and she sat there at the piano and played. Now, I didn't make the listening party, but I knew some people went. And that was something that was different than, she called that guerrilla marketing. She got on the tour bus, and they just went straight down 95.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think even though she went under Clive Davis, and they was investing money in her, it's like, maybe you had to convince these DJs or these program directors to say, hey, this is not the sound that's going on right now, but we think this could be the new sound. So we want you to meet her. Cause what it's like when you go to a concert and listen to an artist versus you sitting home by yourself listening to them on your box. It's different.
Yeah.
At first. You fall in love with the artist. Yeah. So that was interesting.
Yeah,
really
definitely.
interesting time. Yeah.
Wow.
So that goes back to, like, what was Jordan Sparks, management thinking about, with her? She came out pretty young, beautiful young girl. A lot of people can identify with her, but when she came out, she was like Jennifer Hudson, a little heavy at the time, and back then I think the look was, they want you to have that small look, like the way Aaliyah looked. It's like everybody wanted their artist to look like Aaliyah at the time. Remember, Aaliyah was gone.
Oh yeah.
Nobody was replacing her. Yeah. Except for we did have like Carrie Hilton that came along, and then the girl out of California that's married to the football player. She kind of busted on the scene.
Okay.
With that pop type, dancing, a little bit of rapping, she came along. So it was a change. The industry was really kind of, for the female part of the industry, pop R&B, it was like I guess they feel like it was open. The door was open for anybody that could take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting era. That was a very interesting era. So how do you feel now? With we're a little older now. We're not really into some of the new sounds that's out, but it's like still being a DJ. You know what's going on. What are the kids listening to? What are they streaming? What you think?
I really like. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen to my old stuff, but and I came up when Treacherous 3 and all of them were on the radio, and Grandmaster Flash, the Furious 5, and Cool J and all. But I do like some of this. I don't like a lot of the new rap, no, because they're mumbling too much. No, no, I don't understand it. Right. No, stop. Speak words. But I do like a lot of the new artists. I love her. I mean, she's a bad chick. She's bad. Lisa Keys, John Legend, yes. I mean, and again, but a lot of some of these new ones, I believe in. If you can't sing flat-footed with no shoes on and stand on stage with just a microphone and a guitar, you can't sing. And that's the way I look at it. I'm like, no. And, people were like, oh, Beyonce can't sing. I said, yes, Beyonce can sing. Kelly can sing. Yeah. And so was Michelle. All three of those guys can sing. They sing flat-footed, no acapella. They can sing. But a lot of these other artists are like, just to me, they're just studio can. They get up there and they gotta have a backing track. They gotta. I mean, Janet.
Yeah, you're right. And it's interesting. And it's interesting now because because now we're into culture. People are still into the hair, the big hair, the glamour. It's like you got to have your style to go along with your sound. And Gabriella Wilson, AKA her, she fits that mold that they've been looking for a really long time. A very stylish, real cool. And of course, they want you to have a platform that you stand on, and sometimes you can kind of look at her and see her blackness, and I think right now the young people, the millennials, are really into you being real. Remember that was being thrown around for a really long time?
Yeah.
They don't want no phoniness. They don't want you to come out and, saying that, you're this and you're that, and you don't even write your own music, and you're not even singing your own music. They're not for that. They want the whole package, and
they want the whole package. They want you to play an instrument, and I don't blame them. I agree. I want you to play an instrument. I want you to stand up. I want you to sing a cappella, flat-footed, no shoes. And and I notice a lot of them, even with gospel music, you see a lot of them like Jonathan McReynolds. They're playing acoustic guitars, which is crazy. Yeah. Which is incredible. Yeah. They're just they're on the guitars, and they're just Jonathan McReynolds and I can't think of the other guy. His name I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head, but he's with the acoustic guitar. But again, like I said, a lot of them, they want a lot of these guys to come out that can sing. And to me, I'm cool with it. I really want to know that you.
And that is that's the greatest thing about social media. Yeah, these artists have an opportunity to be them before they just show up. With us, before social media, they just show up because that's what the A&R was working on. That's what the label was working on, getting this person ready to come out into the world. Make them what they think that we want. Build them. It's like they make an artist for you and give you the sound you want. Now it's like you get a chance to see who this artist because they laying a digital footprint. There's a digital footprint now, so it's like you can't just pop up out of nowhere. Yeah. Because they're going to go back and look for you. Where does this person come from? So that's what's so interesting now that I like. And it kind of reminds you of the old school guys, because one of the reason I enjoy the testimony, the show that we air with Paula Breon. Paula Breon comes from that house music gospel sound. And she's worked with artists that really wrote music, and they spent hours in the studio till they got it right. It's nobody, you coming in their basement and they say, all right, where we going to the studio? They say, oh, this is it. And they got a laptop, and a microphone. Wow. It's like they had the band sitting there waiting for you, Right. So, I love listening to her show because she has industry greats on her show that a lot of us didn't really know who they were because they were concentrating on, the house music sector back then, that genre. And now a lot of them are moving, because their lives have moved on and they got families. Now they're writers and composers, and they're playing for their churches. So now they're producing gospel music. So it's like, now he's like, yeah, I heard that name before, and that sound is blending perfectly with what we need today. And that's like real music. And that brings me to talking about Shawn Ray Price. Shawn Ray Price is a lot of our listeners know who she is because, she's been with the Price sisters, and of course everybody knows her sister is. They were the backup singers of Mariah Carey, so you had to really sing to travel her. And also they backed up singing for a number of top artists, Luther Vandross and George Michael and all of them. Yeah. Of course, so now she has her own family and her kids are musicians. They perform live, and I remember when I first heard Shawn Ray Price live, I was just walking. We had just got out the car. We was in Tampa, Florida, going to a award show, and she was on stage. I said, wait a minute, I know who that artist is. I play her music on the show. And her voice was just so powerful, like a Patti LaBelle power. And it goes back to your question, why some of these people are not at the top of the level, because they got the game. They can play the game. They got the skill set. They got the talent. But why are they not selling out records and touring all over the world? Everybody know who they are and it's packed arenas. What is that? Is that the universe just not cooperating, or maybe I don't know. Look, you say you're a singer. You sing well.
Oh, thank you.
Explain it to the Batman. Yeah, explain it to the Batman. Why is everybody's train full of gold not pulling up to the station like they wanted to?
But again, just like with me, I mean, I was very, when I really don't necessarily really sing out and out, but I think a lot of singers now, again, are using the platforms of Instagram and YouTube. And, again, they're getting it out that way. Before you had like Motown and places you could walk right in and audition. Those places, you can't do those. You can't do that anymore. So even with me, like I said, I one singer that she said, plant where you are. She said, you do your singing where you are. And she said she started right in the local area when she was in North Carolina, and she would do those local groups, and not groups, but she would do the little local theaters and the little local clubs and little, like the Mainstay and little theaters like Garfield. And she said, that's what I did until she said, okay, fine. now it was okay for me to go ahead and branch out even further, because then somebody will come along and hear about you and go, oh, no, we want you to sing on this, we want you to sing on that. And but she said, just plant where you are. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They're just planting where they are. And again, they're you know, they don't necessarily really have that big machine behind them to push them out there. I don't, you know, but again, I'm just happy to just be singing, you know, just be singing anywhere and just, you know, get up and enjoy myself. And again, a lot of people don't want to really facilitate. They don't really want to consider the money part. They just want to sing because they love the love of the singing and the joy of singing. Especially just singing for the Lord or just singing like me. I sing for the Lord and I just enjoy singing, period. So anytime somebody says, you know, I sang Saturday in the park at the rally, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll get up and sing for y'all. So it was great, you know.
Yeah. And the thing about it, the money is there because it's not like nobody's interested in y'all sound. It's like the whole bottom line is you just got to get in front of the people so they can make a decision and say, hey, I want to invest in this artist. I want to support this artist, and I love their music and I love their sound. And if she comes back here again, I'm going to buy a ticket and show up again. So it's almost like you do have to kind of initiate the investment on yourself so you can get in front of that live audience. Because to me, it is some songs that I hear for the first time, and it does something to my spirit. I was like, oh, man, I love that song. And then there's some that I have to listen to it like maybe a second, maybe a third time, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm adding it to my playlist. And then there's sometimes, it don't matter what the song, it's the artist themselves, but I'm talking live now, that brings that out to you. Say, oh my God, I really like this. I like that because they get a chance to show their personality during the performance and connect with you. So now you're a fan. So the next time you hear they coming to town, you buy the ticket, and I think that helps them because then the venues become bigger and bigger and bigger while they invest. And then if you remember when we had L.A. Young in our show, I think that was some of the questions we had because she's a multi-talented individual. She knows what she wants. She works with the finest musicians in the area, you know, the DMV. But yet she's filling these theaters up during the experience, you know, the Philharmonic experience. You know, it's not like we're hearing her, we're hearing Phyllis Hyman. But I'm sure early in her career, you know, she probably was out there trying to establish herself. But I think now, you know, with the way social media is, you know, when is it too early to come along and it's too late to come along? You know, meaning that, you know, because like I had a discussion with two artists before, and they didn't believe what I was saying. And I feel them because I feel the same way too. If I was a music producer, and you know, and I still wanted to make movies, but I wanted to make movies for people my age group. And what's people going to say? Well, you know, Jerry, people our age don't buy movie tickets for themselves. They buy for their kids. You know, so that's what I was kind of saying to them in so many ways. I said, well, you know what, you got all these, you know, aging Christian artists that, you know, they've finished their career, they've raised their family, they've done the things they wanted to do. Now they empty nesters or whatever, and they want to go out there and start their singing career. And you like wondering, is it too late to do it the way you was doing it when you was in your teens and your 20s? You're like, can you do it that way, or you got to do it another way when you start getting in your 40s and 50s? Because when you start looking at the people who buy tickets, to me, and I listen to some of these artists, and I watch the numbers, and you know, you see these numbers. It's like my kids' playlist that they bought before streaming came along, it was larger than mine. I didn't buy a lot of music. You know, I just most time when I bought music, Yvette, I went back and bought the old stuff that I didn't know what the new stuff was like because I didn't get it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right now, I'm telling you, when I first got my first what was it called? The little eye thing?
The little iPod.
iPod. I went back and I said, well, wait a minute. I can take and put all my old music, my CDs, and I can download this and put them on my iPod.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go and buy it new. I bought some, but most of the stuff I bought old stuff because I know I can go and fuck around with it.
Yeah, and you know, but you just hit something real important because you think about this. You know, we buying music that we bought when we was in our 20s. That's what we're doing. We bought music that when we were in our 20s. It's like it's not like I don't understand the new artists like her and even what was the other one named SZA. SZA, how you say her name? SZA.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, SZA and then I think you got Daniel C. All these people out there. It's like they got great singers and they got great music, but it's like I don't know. I think I would spend my time listening to Chaka Khan and like I've been sitting on the deck listening to Tender Pendergrass over and over again. Luther Vandross, Sade, like all those artists back then. Yeah, LL Cool J. I didn't get a chance to buy all their music. You know what I'm saying?
No, Michael Jackson, no. Earth, Wind and Fire, Function. And then I went back and got a lot of the old gospel. I got a whole bunch of gospel stuff. I went back.
Yeah. Exactly. Now that we got. Yeah. See, and I went back then. Because back then you had to buy albums. You couldn't really buy singles when it got to the, you had to buy a whole CD, and you talking about $15, $20. So you really couldn't really afford to say, okay, I'm going to go buy a Prince album, I'm going to get Michael Jackson new joint, I'm going to get LL Cool J, and then I'm going to buy John Adams, Kirk Franklin. You're talking about $100 for that. Right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Car payments, car insurance, rent, and then you still got to get your outfits for the weekend, and then when you take yourself out, that's $30. If you take a day out, that's $60. So it's like our money didn't really stretch that far once we got on our own in our 20s. So most of the music we heard was either on the music video channels or in the car or when you got to the club, because basically the radio stations introduced us to the hits, if you remember.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And then you wait for the video that came out, which entertained us on the video channel, and then you hoping that artists came to town so you could buy a ticket to the concert. And a lot of times there'd be a whole bunch of them on the tour, so you got a chance to hear all your favorite songs, all in one evening, live.
Exactly.
Where now,
and then back then, tickets were so cheap. I remember going to a concert. I remember going to see Patti LaBelle in Salisbury Civic Center here on the Eastern Shore. My sister and I and one of my girlfriends. Guess how much we paid for those Patti LaBelle tickets to go see her in concert? We paid $18 a piece to go see her.
Yeah, $25. Yep.
$25 to go see. It's the best concert I have ever seen in my life. When she rolled around stage on that with that velveteen dress, threw off her shoes, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
incredible.
We saw her a lot of times here because she loves Baltimore. So we used to see her down at the outside underneath of the tent by the water, and then of course she would show up at the in D.C. at the Armory and them places. Because she never really liked getting those really big places because it wouldn't really carry her sound, So she knew what venues worked for her, And you're right, man. Plus she liked to talk to the crowd. She'd be at the Lyric, the Meyerhoff, all them places, where they were real intimate concerts. Yeah.
And the only way I'll spend money on a concert now for me, it has to be I'll definitely spend money on a jazz concert. I'm going to go see Wynton Marsalis and Marcus Johnson and Gerald Albright and then even a gospel concert with love. But a lot of the gospel artists like Kirk and them, they're not even out in these arenas like they should be. Not to me. You know, and I guess they really can't get that. They can't get the marketing behind them like some of these bigger acts. They just can't get the marketing behind them to do stuff, which I.
Yeah, sometimes right. Sometimes it's the promoters that kind of. We had a promoter here, and she kind of explained how a lot of the promoters buy up all of the slots, the weekends at these venues, and then they start doing deals. So it's like it's kind of complicated because I remember she was telling us how some of these up and coming stage producers are trying to get into some of these arenas and these theaters, these colleges, and they just couldn't because they didn't know how to negotiate. I thought that was really interesting. And it's just like dealing with the Gabriel, when you guys at the Prince Theater. When I called in there, man, they gave me booked it almost a year later. Then they said, okay, then if this happens, then you can get bumped. And I was like, how am I supposed to sell tickets and promote if I'm going to get bumped? I know that's one of the things they say about the what's the place in Easton called? The
Avalon. Avalon Theater.
Yeah, the Avalon. Right, the Avalon, you can get bumped if a off-Broadway production is coming, and you're in their path, you can get bumped. Now, they didn't say that exactly about the Gabriel, but they already knew what organizations booked when, so it was like they were kind of trying to find me a soft spot, because of the rehearsals and stuff like that from these productions. They need the stage for rehearsal. So, that was interesting. That's a whole complicated industry itself, just becoming a promoter or a producer trying to get getting into these venues. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to take baby steps and rent out a pavilion at a local park and just, work your way up. So anyway, this is really interesting because this what we talked about today, mentioning the American Idol and why a lot of those and they've had numerous television exposure, but it's like I guess the main word is this person marketable? Are they a brand? Do they look like a brand? Can they sit up there and pull and attract, people, into their world, into their space, into their where they are, And look at these people who've made it.
Yeah, one thing, the crazy thing as far as a lot of the different voice, the voice is on too. I love watching The Voice, but you don't know any of those winners. I have not heard anything from any of those winners. Nothing.
Yeah. And now, Sandy Red wasn't doing too bad for a minute. I think what happened was she was blowing up in Atlanta. She was getting a lot of venues opening up, having her come in and perform. And because we had her on our show, on Paula G's show, and she kind of talked to Paula about how it worked. Because they're under contract for a while where, they can't even really do anything without the studio's involvement. So they got to wait till they release you before they can try to take off. And then at that point, do anybody remember you?
Wow.
Did you really wow them? It's almost like you got to look at it like this. Once you get on that stage, you need to look at it like it's your future. You're performing for your future, not just to become a winner, but it's like you trying to make an impression and win followers. So when you're finished with all of that, they still around when the smoke clears.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's nuts.
Yeah. That's hard. That's a hard industry. But I'm gonna tell you though, we got to praise God for the fact that we have this invention called the internet, because this thing has created so many jobs, so many opportunities for people, and that brings me to my next point. I want everybody to write this down, especially you guys overseas. I know you guys overseas. Sometimes y'all don't catch our live podcast until it's on demand because of the time difference. So I know I communicate over in Johannesburg on a continent like 6 hours ahead of me. But we want you guys to pencil in that on Friday at 8 o'clock, the Lakeisha Mosley Show is going to be airing on Positive Power WXI, on Spreaker Podcast Live, and we probably also going to have the YouTube channel up live, as well as try to get into IG. We're going to have these 5 phenomenal women: Wendy Key, and Lakeisha Mosley, Dr. Annette West, just to name a few. Some of them are authors, some of them are entrepreneurs, they're life coaches, they're impact women, they're influencers. We want you guys to tune in. I believe there's a major shift going on, and I know that was a phenomenal show that Yvette did on Power Lift with Pastor Red and Lady Crystal, how she feels about where we are. Yeah, powerful show. Where we are today.
Yes.
So this podcast, these women are going to, they're going to be introducing themselves to you because you're going to be hearing about them for a long time. They're going to be bringing a conference virtually for now until we get past COVID, but they're actually planning on doing some offline conferences here in the Maryland area, and I think in some other states that's going to be in that lineup as well. But we're looking at Chestertown, we're looking at Centerville, we're looking at Graysonville for these conferences where these women are going to take the stage and they're going to uplift you because everybody has that potential in them. You just need encouragement. I mean, we've been dealing with discrimination and oppression for 401 years. And now, and we're starting to see these stories that's coming out, not just the current story, but you're hearing about what happened even with the Union soldiers, where they put our women and children in a concentration camp in Mississippi and made the black men go back to work on the plantation.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be the Union. And you're hearing stories how both sides of the war was financed by the same bank. That doesn't make sense. But when it comes to greed and becoming rich, and that's what happened on the backs of African Americans and the Africans. This country had became a superpower on the backs of our people, our ancestors. And that's why they're a superpower. And that's why some of these other countries are superpowers, because they did the same thing. They killed off the Indians, and they did their thing here in America.
Yeah.
Right. So go out there, y'all, and check out some of these shows. Netflix and Amazon Prime. I'm gonna recommend a really good one because I had never heard this story before, Yvette. And I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish up because we're gonna get ready for the next show. And we're gonna try to play Janae Blackworth's music. But I don't know if you heard of this movie called The Black Miami. But you gotta watch it because
Yeah, I think I've heard of that, and I said, I've got to try to watch that show.
You got to watch that. This movie put everything, because the historian had told the story. This guy knew everything. The story that he told pretty much happened everywhere where blacks had built wealth and was getting stronger. And he talked about Miami because at the time, Miami, Florida, really wasn't really, it was only settled on with the Seminole. The Indians were there. But they made friends with the black Seminole, which I think was with a mixture. I think it was a mixture of when the Indians and the Africans started mixing race, and then you started getting another race of people. Well, the Bahamians were there because they used to travel to Florida to get the turtles, get the eggs and some of the turtles, the sea turtles that would come to shore. So they were very familiar with Florida, and they started staying, a lot of them. And then before you know it, a lot of the slaves were escaping Georgia with the help of the Seminoles. They were staying in Florida. They were hiding them, and until they became free. So of course, I'm messing up a lot of the story. Probably I'm chopping it up, but you got to check out The Black Miami because they talk about how there's one African American owned one part of the beach. I think it was Miami Beach. He was saying, I gotta watch it again because I only watched it one time. But he ended up losing it during the Great Depression, and he sold it to a Jewish gentleman, businessman. But a lot of that stuff was owned by, I know, and that's what happens sometimes. Little stuff like that happens, and there's a turnover. So check out The Black Miami. It's going to enrich you. It's basically the way Tulsa, the way Greenwood in Oklahoma was built up. I think the slaves got bad land, but turned out that the land had oil on it. So you'll hear a lot of these kind of stories, how these African Americans became millionaires, and then of course the whites went in wouldn't allow them to put their money in their banks without them supervising it. So it was a lot of flim-flam was going on back then. So you got to check out the Black Miami, man. That's a phenomenal story this guy told. Anyway, Vet, so you want to go ahead and close out, and we're going to end on Janae Blackwell.
Yeah, I just want to say this has been a great show. And if anybody wants, just want to let you know, I finally got my store set up on Etsy. If anybody wants any Sunday Jazz Experience T-shirt or a tote bag, they can just go to Etsy, STSY.com, and just put in Sunday Jazz Experience. It up pops the T-shirt and the tote bag, and I'll be putting up more stuff on there as well. And then also I've got my 2 books out, Uplift My Soul. They can go to Amazon and get that as well, or they can go on to my other book as well, No Ways Tired, African American Churches on Maryland Eastern Shore. They can go and check that out and buy that on Amazon as well. So, and sorry we didn't interview Janae Blackwell, but hopefully we'll get her back on soon. And everybody just stay positive and stay prayed up, and just continue to trust and believe in the Lord, and we're going to get through this thing.
That's right. And coming up at 9:30 is a show that a lot of people have been attracted to this couple, but they have 2 separate shows. You got A Renewed Mind with Dr. H. Dante Duckett. You can catch this show on Monday at 8 o'clock live, but you can catch it on demand on Spotify, and all the leading platforms, and as well as his wife, Dr. Diane Duckett. She actually works very closely with me, making sure our graphics is tight. You can catch her show coming up next at 9:30. This show is called Becoming You. She talks a lot about building your universe and speaking life into yourself. Okay, pulling from within, and then being encouraged. So check out that show. It's a powerful show. It's coming up next right after we finish playing Janae. She got a brand new hit called Tune Setting. Okay? All right. Batman's out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget to check out Lady Praise page, Facebook page under Yvette Henson, HYNSON. And you can find it under the Batman. That's right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. You're welcome. Right. Peace out.
Amen, guys. Amen.
You're listening to Do or Slide Worldwide Podcast.
Checking my stats, running background checks 'cause I'm cautious.